Hey everyone, this is John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com, and I just wanted to welcome you to this new thing I'm going to try out, which is to do some YouTube videos. I've been finding that I get a lot of different questions and emails from either readers of my simpleprogrammer.com blog or viewers of my Pluralsight courses, or just in general about career advice and things of that nature. So I'm going to try to address some of those things here, and then also just to talk about some of the things that I don't really have time to write a blog post on, or that might not fill up a blog post, or that will just sound a little bit better having a more personal touch. So the thing that I really wanted to address first, the most common thing that I'll frequently get asked about is how to get started with something. And I've gotten a lot of emails lately with people asking, how do I get started writing an application, maybe learning Android or iOS? And I have a lot of experience in getting started on a lot of different platforms and new technologies, as I'm always coming up with a new Pluralsight course on a lot of stuff that perhaps I haven't even done before, where I'm learning that and ramping up really quickly. So I've got a lot of thoughts here that I've kind of developed over time as I've experienced it myself, this process of going through and figuring out how is the best way to learn something quickly and really just get started. And really, I think the best thing to do to get started is to first pick a very small project. And what I mean by this is something that you can do perhaps in a week or 2 weeks' time, not the great thing that you want to build. Let's say that you want to build some awesome application for your iPhone or your Windows phone, your Android phone, and you've got some really good ideas. Well, you don't want to start with that awesome application when you're learning the technology, because what's going to happen is that you're going to find that you're going to have so many learning experiences along the way, and you're going to feel like what you're building is not so good, and you're going to be demotivated, and it's also going to take a long time before you finish, so you're not going to have this motivation to continue. What I've really found in my career, in life in general, is that the things that tend to motivate people are when you have a lot of small accomplishments. So you got to get to the finish line, and you got to be crossing that finish line very early and very often. That gives you that burst of motivation to keep going. If you have a really long race to run, the chances are of you completing that race are a lot smaller. So what I like to recommend is that you just start off, pick a small project, maybe make a list of a whole bunch of different things that you might try, and then pick from that list. Say, hey, okay, I'm going to build this simple application that takes a picture. And hey, maybe that's a really small application, but that's fine. And then all you have to do once you have that is break that down into a small set of features. The key to being successful is to make things smaller and smaller until it gets to the point where it's so easy for you to figure it out. Even if you've never used a platform before, you can figure out probably something really small, like, hey, how do I make the camera work on an iPhone? Well, if you Google that, I'm sure you'll find the answer, and you can put that into your code. You can even just copy that code and figure out how that works. So if you can take your application, your small project, and you can sketch it out, break it into very small pieces. Let's say that we're making that photo taking application. Well, the first thing that you need is a screen that has a button that says take a picture. So, okay, that's step one. We're going to need that. Then we know that when you click that button, you're probably going to want to open up the camera. Okay, and then when you get an image from the camera that's been taken, you want to display that image on the screen. So you've basically got 3 projects or 3 sub-projects in there, and each one of those can be broken down further. So let's say that you are starting off with that first screen that you want to create that has a button on it. Well, you need to know how to create a screen. So okay, so that might be where I would start my actual learning of that platform, is just to say, how do I figure out how to just create a screen? And that you're probably going to find the answer to in a very basic tutorial. Then how do I put a button on the screen? How do I make it so that when I click a button, it does something? So it's really not that difficult if you can break things down. What I find is that a lot of people get very overwhelmed because they want to either try to build something too big, or they're not thinking about things as small, simple steps.